has come. The finest warrior this planet has to offer. I can sense no limit to his energy.
Are you the boss man of these invaders?
Wonderful. Before we fight, let us exchange names. I lead the pirate band known as Dark Matter, and I am the dominator of the universe. My name is Boros.
I'm a hero for fun. I mean, a real professional hero. And my name is Saitama.
Saitama.
Look, dude, I don't know what the denominator of the universe wants with Earth, but you sure did make a big mess out of City A.
What I want with Earth. There exists a prophecy.
Prophecy?
Lure me away. But now I'm certain that which is true. Come and give stimulation to my existence. That is why I am here.
Are you an idiot? You can't just go around attacking other planets simply to liven up your boring little life. Even telemarketers wouldn't think of something that dumb.
The finest warrior this planet has to offer. I can sense no limit to his energy.
You understand? Limitless. He's looking at the aura right there. See, he could see his aura just like when he looked at him in the anime. Not in the anime, but the manga. See, you can see his aura. Most people can't see it, but he can see it. And it's quite impressive. He's able to do damage to Saitama's physical body. Pretty much because Saitama wasn't taking him seriously, but also because the physicality is limited, it can be destroyed. But the spirit has no limit to it. Let me say it again.
The finest warrior this planet has to offer. I can sense no limit to his energy.
Didn't say nothing about his body though. Even mocks him about how he can do damage to him later on. He doesn't understand the true power of a human is not the physical body, it's the spirit, which is limitless. What does he say right here? Representative of the planet. Came a long way quickly. That's since immeasurable energy. Welcome to my ship. Yeah, it was quite a journey. Making it that pile of shit. It really was. You wouldn't even know though because you don't know my history. That's what they were trying to hide.
Came from, we have to understand his ability. Basically speaking, Gojo uses his inherited technique to manipulate and distort space itself. Even if he looks like he's having a normal day, he is actually constantly using Limitless.
Let that sit in. Like I said, even when I'm just like sitting here, it's constantly working. Like, what did I tell you about the 3 holes? Constantly growing, constant endless scale, consistency to the power, it doesn't fade. And it can do anything. Like, he can use this to change shit around and do whatever. Like, he has more powers, I already know, because this character's usually based around me. Like, I mean, this guy's clearly
to
based.
manipulate and distort space itself. Even if he looks like he's having a normal day, he is actually constantly using Limitless. It's important
It's constantly growing.
to know that Gojo's technique only brings infinity to reality. He does not create space between himself and his opponents, but only divides the finite space into an infinite amount. This technique is heavily based on mathematical principles that between himself and his opponents, but only divides the finite space into an infinite amount. This
But that's
brings infinity to reality.
that guy, he's just kind of like manifest stuff. He's another guy that probably got the check.
Does not create space between himself and his opponents, but only divides the finite space into an infinite amount.
So basically, you take something and amplifies it infinity, like to infinity. Like there's no end to it. This guy tries to explain it with quantum splits, which is a pretty good explanation because that seems to be involved. Like how John McAfee, I told you how he's a quantum immortal. He could sit there and just keep pulling the trigger, and he'd be just fine, simply because he seemed to have a gift with that. And that's not very nice of him. Not letting me go down. Oh, there it is. It's pretty far back here. Like, yeah, quantum immortality, legends are forever. John McAfee, featuring the greatest fighter, assassin, mage. I've been saying I'm the greatest mage for a long time, but like look at the other one, Dragon Ball Z. I was talking about how he stun combos, and I actually show videos of me stun comboing. See, oh, shit. That was a while ago I did that too. Let me see. See, a serpent holder, that's a part of his story. It's just me. It's just like how Buddha, if he is part of my story, he was thinking that he was basically an end-all be-all, but he doesn't understand. Just like Deku, who's the seventh, I believe, or the final holder of all for one for all, where he basically gives the power to enhance everybody. It's just like how my power works, and that's another anime. It's like showing my power. And Deku literally got, who means green, Midori, like my colors, and I was literally smoking. I'm probably gonna stop because I feel like it's filling up my power a little too much, and I want to get a little more serious. But yeah, he got this like this shadow power that kind of relates to whatchamacallit, the graphene oxide, how I turned it into my own power. That was really just shadow of mine anyway. Like, if you go look at that stone that I found, that magnetite, which is just basically iron, the rod of iron, the truer version of the rod of iron that I'm going to be doing the power with soon. If you look at that, what was it? It's similar to it's got a Pharaoh effect, kind of like how this negative stuff that they're putting, this Morgellon stuff, this black goo type stuff that's made out of graphene instead of magnetite and hematite, which is the iron. It's the iron, it's the counter. It's got this Pharaoh effect too. Both of them do, but one's positive, one seems to be toxic and negative. So it's like the perfect little counter in my opinion. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
This technique is heavily based on mathematical principles that you will find out about soon enough if you stick around. Limitless has 3 different forms that Gojo uses according to situations. So let's get into it. Neutral, limitless, infinity. At any given normal moment, Gojo is...
He's constantly doing it. It's neutral. It's constant. But there's different phases to it. I don't want to say
always using Limitless in its neutral form. You have seen it at multiple moments in the story when Gojo makes anything stop from hitting him, be it Jogo's attack or Udahime's irritating T-splash to his face. In the simplest of words, there is a definite space between you and Gojo that you cannot cross, no matter how hard you try, and it's called
And that's exactly why the second Ezra, he didn't pick up a weapon when this innumerable multitude, like all these realms and nations and people, came against him. Except that he only they saw that out of his mouth came a blast of fire, a living tempest, and out of his tongue sparks of tempest. That's why there's always tempest, thunder, and all this stuff going on with him. And same thing with right before the Tonga tsunami or whatever, and a lot of these other things. And they were all mixed together to blast fire and destroyed the tempest and destroyed the multitude that came to try and get him. You know, he ain't pick up no weapon. That's it. He came to subdue him. He didn't lift up didn't even lift up his hand, nor held a sword, nor any instrument of war. All that fancy shit they do, nah. That neutral aura, that neutral infinity is really how it works. Right? That's why later on, because it shows they've been obviously watching, he learns how to do it
Cool
natural, automatically.
Essentially, what I'm trying to say is like, all you fangirls or fan guys wanting to meet Gojo and touch him or even kiss the dude, it will be by his permission only. No one can even come close to him. The closer you get to Gojo, the more his technique divides the...
It's basically like, this is like what happens. They start to come into my realm and then they realize, oh, this is a lot more than I bargained for. And that's why they get caught in it and drives him mad and all that kind of stuff. But there's a lot more to it, and that's why he doesn't have to pick up a weapon, because he's got this protection, basically from God.
The finite space into smaller parts. If you remember, only no one can even come close to him. The closer you get to Gojo, the more his technique divides the finite space into smaller parts. If you remember graceful magic,
and that's one of the demons.
Come close to him. The closer you get to Gojo, the more his technique divides.
This guy over here is what I'm talking about, like how I have my shadow down defeat. That's so powerful, just like me, like it's causing this balance effect where like it's literally manifesting his shadow as these entities that would never exist, but probably were a possibility just waiting to be birthed or whatever. Kind of like a negative angel or whatever. And you know, he has to face him or whatever. You know, it's nothing that can compete with God, and that's why all this stuff happens in Revelation, as the presence of God, you know, causes these things to happen. It's the days of the Son of Man. It's not a single day. And yeah, they're trying to balance it out with all this negativity. That's how I knew about they were going to go into Ukraine and all this stuff. And that's what I'm really fighting. This is where the real war is. These things are the real threat. They're up in your skies, and Lucas of the Bottomless Pit, all these different things that were just, they got a bottomless pit at all. Like, I'm the king of the bottomless pit. That's why I can take Satan and throw his ass in there, just like he throws these guys in there. And they just get stuck. And they get tormented by their evil deeds. Like, let me show you. This is karma. Like, and once they step into my realm, my space, it's pretty much over for them. Unless they're good, they're gonna be destroyed. It's just that simple. The law. For thou hast forsaken thine own way and applied diligence unto my law, and sought it. And shall lay before them their evil thoughts and the torments wherewith they shall begin to be tormented, which are like unto a flame. And shall destroy them without effort, by the law which is like unto me. It's karma. That's why these guys getting that endless loot. They split off and came around the wrong motherfucker, bro. And now he's just gonna wipe them, bro. But looks like I'm at I got loot. And that's why they're fucked. They can't be.
The finite space into smaller parts. If you remember graceful math, you
It's an
remember
autopilot.
that no number ever becomes zero.
It's an autopilot. I could literally like just pass away. Like, now she's got me perfecting certain things, and it'll still continue to grow. That's the way it's set up. That's why it never fails. And it definitely ain't gonna become less powerful. But
when divided. It only divides the finite space into smaller parts. If you remember grade school math, you will remember that no number ever becomes zero when divided. It only tends to go to zero. So just like that,
So what are those divisions? Those are splits. The two witnesses, the infinity, the two olive trees. You're gonna either get life or death. Sin leads to death. Life leads to godliness and stuff. And that's why you gotta try and be perfected, because you end up. That's why these people in Groundhog Day. Have you noticed they don't remember shit you told them the other day? I've already done it. That's what the fucking effect was. They didn't transfer. Those who are hearing me and understand what I'm saying, y'all transfer. Like y'all in a whole nother world and you don't even know it. This is my realm. This is my domain. Your little pathetic domains have no effect on me. They get overwritten. I'm making a whole new heaven and a whole new earth. And I'm gonna burn y'all with this fire. You better get on my side and get burnt.